right, I'd like to call to order the October 5th meeting of the Planning Commission. Roll call, please.
Chair Dennison?
Here.
Vice Chair Pepsler?
Here.
Commissioner Moran?
Here.
Simcock?
Here.
And Commissioner Yu.
All right, I would ask for a motion to approve the agenda.
Seconded.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries unanimously. Next up are approval of minutes. I believe we don't have enough people for the August 3rd or August 17th meeting, so I will look for any comments, edits, or changes to the September 7th meeting minutes. Hearing none, I will look for a motion to accept as presented.
I move to accept the minutes from September 17th as presented, or September 7th, sorry.
Oh, yeah, I was here, that was my meeting, right?
Yeah.
Okay, I second.
All right, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
And I recuse myself. So that motion carries. Next up, we have our council liaison report. Would you say that again? I think the microphone was off, sorry.
The City Council has nothing to report at this time. We just appreciate all your hard work.
Thank you. Next up is community input. At this time, any person may address the Planning Commission concerning an item that is not on the agenda. The Commission welcomes your attendance and participation. When addressing the Commission, please begin by providing your name and address for the record, and please keep comments to no more than 3 minutes to assure an orderly and timely meeting. Anybody who would like to make comments about items that are not on the agenda? Hearing none, we will move on. First up is a disclosure of site visits and ex parte context. Anybody have anything?
None.
None.
Contact, no visit.
I did.
Did a drive-by of the South Lima one, didn't see anyone.
I also did drive by the Chaparral site, but did not speak to anybody. So first up is a public hearing, the design review permit 22-03, an application to allow the demolition of an existing structure and the construction of new 2-story, 3,496 square feet, single-family residence. I believe that we are going to ask the commission to continue this to a date certain of December 7th. And so before we do that, we'll entertain public comment from anybody in the public. At this time, you may come forward and make any comments you wish about this particular agendized item. This is the 174th South Lima Street, or Lima.
Hi, my name is Karma Bell. I'm at 184 South Lima, the house directly south of the proposed demolition and rebuild. Did I understand that this is automatically going to be re-agendized to December something? Or, okay, I don't need your response, that's fine. I'll just go ahead and say what I was going to say. Well, I was here the last time this was on the agenda, and my husband and I have lived at the property just below the proposed project for a very long time. We are a one-story house, 1,700-ish square feet, and the proposed construction of a 2-story house would loom over our backyard. I would not feel like I had the privacy that I currently enjoy in my backyard. There would be this wall of windows or no windows that would be able to look down upon us. And so it's a loss of privacy that I object to the most. Secondarily, though, and also very important, is that the house as proposed is totally outside the neighborhood. It does not fit with the neighborhood whatsoever. These are all, I don't know what the term is, quote, craftsman kind of homes, are all one story or mostly one story at the face of the street, facing the street. And this house that is proposed is a block wall that hits you in the face on that street. And it rises 2 stories when almost everything else is only 1 story, at least at the face of the street. So that's a huge impediment as well. It inhibits our neighborhood from looking classic, as it has done for a number of years, and it imposes a lack of privacy on our yard and property. And I don't know how one determines, or the commission determines, what is acceptable or what is not acceptable, but I would think that there would be some congruous aspect to approving a project, and this one does not. It is totally incongruous to the block that I live on. So I would ask for some reconsideration of the design of their build, that it fits with the neighborhood and doesn't encroach on our privacy. Thank you.
Thank you.
Janet Owens, South Lima.
I have a picture of a house that's a 1-story and the 2 neighbors next door for an example.
It's also in
My name is Janet Owens. I own the property at 175 South Lima. I'm totally opposed to a 2-story being built across the street at 174 South Lima. The original buyers of the home in 2014 belonged to a group of investors that buy and sell property. They have a property management firm called Arland Property Management, LLC. They transfer the homes back and forth between themselves and Arland Property Management. There's nothing wrong with buying and selling properties, but they have no real connection to Sierra Madre. The current owners, also in the first group of investors in 2014, may very well be planning on moving their son into the new house. They can certainly build a single-story, 3,500 square foot home and still have 6,000 square feet for the owner's grandson to play. Many lots with homes on them are 6,000 square feet or less. A 2-story home will definitely bring down the property values for the neighborhood, especially the homes next door and to the rear. They will lose their backyard privacy. No one wants to be peered at while in their yard. Some cities, Berkeley as an example, require a light study to make sure the sun is not blocked and shadows are not present on the surrounding properties. The second story would possibly block part of the sunrise for the home to the west and sunset for those to the east, not to mention the homes next door losing sun and privacy due to the second story. I'm sure the owners think that a 2-story home will bring more money when it's eventually sold. On the contrary, a 1-story that blends in with the neighborhood will be more valuable. People move to Sierra Madre for a cohesive neighborhood, not a flashy design that looks out of place. While the proposed home will be easily 2 times the square footage of the homes surrounding it, it can be built in such a way as to not stand out as a massive eyesore, and the neighborhood will not be negatively impacted. I could give you tons of examples of homes that are large and blend in with the neighborhood. Please require a 1-story structure at 175 South Lima. 74.
Thank you, Ms. Owens. Any other comments on the property at 174, I'm sorry, at, 174 South Lima? All right, hearing none, I'll bring it back to the commission. I would like to enter somebody to propose a motion to continue this to a date certain of December 7th, 2023.
Yeah, I'll move that we move it to December 7th, 2023.
All those in favor?
Aye.
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 Opposed? None. Motion carries unanimously.
Do we have a second? Who seconded?
Oh, I'm sorry. Who seconded that? Pat did? You
Second, no.
Pat seconded that.
Yeah, I did.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Could I briefly ask why it's being moved? The developer couldn't make it tonight, or?
Did the developer ask for
Yes, the applicant asked for
Applicant.
the extension.
the applicant? Thank you. All right, next up, our second public hearing at 671 Chaparral Road. This is a design review permit 23-03, a request to allow a second-story addition to a single-family residence resulting in a gross floor area of 3,401 square feet of a single-family residence and a minor conditional use permit, MCUP 23-03, a request for exemption from parking requirements. Does the staff have a presentation for us?
Yes, I would like to introduce our planning technician, Jamie Wang. He's going to deliver the PowerPoint this afternoon.
Welcome.
Thank you. Good evening, Chair Dennison, Vice Chair Pesner, and Commissioners. My name is Jamie Wang. I am the planning technician here at the City of Sierra Madre. I've been working here for a little over a year now, and I'm grateful for it. Today I will be presenting my client's project. It's located at 671 Chaparral Road, and they are requesting for a design review permit and minor conditional use permit. To construct a second-story addition with an exemption to parking. Pursuant to the Sierra Madre Municipal Code, any second-story addition to an existing single-family house shall be subject to a design review permit. Any addition or alteration to an existing residential structure which requires additional parking but does not provide any additional shall be subject to a minor conditional use permit upon additional findings that such parking deficit will not unreasonably overload street parking nor create a nuisance. The project qualifies for a Class 1 and Class 3 categorical exemption of the California Environmental Quality Act. The project location is located at 671 Chaparral Road. The property is zoned in an R1 single-family zone, and the land use is RL residential low density. The lot size is 16,133 square feet and was built in 1953. The existing property currently is 2,536 square feet. On the side, I will show the site photographs. On the upper left photo is the front view of the house, featuring its low-pitched roof, the beautiful Sierra Madre background, the driveway with the studio and carport on the right, and to the furthest right is the parking pad, which they have on the private road. On the lower left photo is another viewing angle of the house. This one has a much clearer view of the parking pad located on Chaparral, and it could fit 2 cars. On the upper right photo looking east at the front of the house features a covered deck in which they will enclose to make into a extension of a laundry room. And on the lower right-hand photo is another front angle of the house with the steps leading to the front porch and showing the low-pitched roof unique to this architectural style. On this slide shows the west side and rear of the house. On the upper left photo is the viewing angle from the west side of the house with the gray colored wood lap siding and the gold roof trim unique to its mid-century modern cabin. On the lower left photo is a picture of the existing studio and 1-car carport with the unique golden trim around it as well. On the upper right photo is the back side of the house with the rear patio and the exposed overhead beams. And finally, on the lower right photo is the view from the neighbor's backyard at 351 West Carter, featuring the rear surrounding deck. In this slide, it shows the surrounding neighborhood. As you can see here, it is a mixture of both 1- and 2-story houses on Chaparral. And here is the map showing each house. On the landscape plan, there are 13 trees on the property, none of which are protected species. Highlighted within the green on the property south of it at 351 West Carter is a protected species, the coast live oak, which will be unaffected during construction. On the existing site plan, there currently exists a 1-story single-family dwelling, a studio, a 1-car carport, and a greenhouse on the lower right-hand corner. The greenhouse does not count into the gross floor area. And there are horizontal lines on the lot of the existing property, which help calculate the average lot width, which is 87 feet 2 inches, with a minimum side yard setback of 8 feet 9 inches on any one side. On the proposed site plan, the applicant requests for a first and second story highlighted in orange with an exemption to parking highlighted in yellow, given that there is adequate parking space. In total, there are 5 spaces available, 2 of which are on the parking pad and 3 on the driveway. Next is the vicinity and neighborhood analysis. Based on a sample size of 32 neighboring properties within a 300-foot radius, 671 Chaparral Road had a slightly higher building size than the average and median sample. However, it had a lower average than the top 1/3 of properties around it. The project data here shows that most of it meets code besides the parking requirement. The applicant is applying for a minor conditional use permit to exempt themselves from the 2-car covered parking. Here is the floor plan. The proposed floor plan on the top right corner, highlighted in orange, shows the reconfiguration of the foyer and laundry room. On the proposed floor plan for the second floor, on the center bottom, highlighted, this is highlighted in orange, sorry. Shows the newly added den and master bathroom, walk-in closet, master bedroom, and roof deck. On the roof plan, shows the east side of it being demolished to accommodate the second-story addition. It will be a flat roof featuring a unique skylight on the connecting edge. In the elevations, I have highlighted the second floor transparent orange and the first floor transparent red. The house was built as a mid-century cabin in the 1950s. It features a low-pitched roof, exposed overhead beams, large glass windows, and sliding doors. The second story would feature a contemporary modern addition with its unique additions of floor-to-ceiling windows, neutral exterior colors, sliding doors, a flat roof, a skylight, and metal railings. On the proposed east elevation, with the yellow lines highlighted here, shows that the driveway is able to accommodate up to 3 cars, while the concrete pad near Chaparral Road can accommodate 2 cars. In these section slides, the proposed section drawing on top shows the new laundry room addition with the den on the second floor. As the proposed section drawing on the bottom, it shows the addition of the second floor, creating an extended roof overhang for both the front porch and rear patio, supported by steel columns. The stairs in the center of the first floor building lead up to the hallway of the second floor, connecting the den and the master bedroom. On the material board, to preserve the mid-century cabin look on the first floor, the homeowner will add a hardy panel siding with a smooth finish in gray. The second floor will be a combination of hardy panel siding with a smooth finish in Arctic white, gray, and gray slate, along with a cedar siding driftwood color on the front. It will be supported by steel columns on the front and rear of the porch and patio. The new windows and door frames will be accented in dark bronze anodized aluminum, and the windows and doors will feature a skylight on the west side of the second floor above the stairs, along with sliding doors on the east side, and floor-to-ceiling and casement windows. And we have a rendering in the next slide showing how it will look like from the front view. Here are the findings for the minor conditional use permit. To summarize the following points, the site will maintain adequate parking, which will not unreasonably interfere with public parking. The property is in fact located on a private road, and the site has enough space to park 5 vehicles total, 3 being on the driveway and 2 on the concrete pad. Although the homeowner does not have space to build the carport, there is a demonstrated need to exempt it, as it would also detract from the architectural style of the house. For the design review permit findings, The proposed project will remain consistent with the general plan by remaining a single-family residential use. The second-story addition will maintain a 24-foot 10-inch height by following the zoning regulations. It will not unreasonably interfere with the privacy of the neighbors, as the building is within the envelope. Moreover, the property is situated within the center of the property on a downhill slope, reducing the visual bulk and mass. Lastly, the project is located on a private road. Here are the alternatives that Planning Commission either may approve the application for design review permit and minor conditional use permit pursuant to Planning Resolution 2316, or approve the applications with modifications, deny the request by identifying the findings that the Planning Commission feels cannot be made and the basis for rejecting those findings, or continue the subject project and provide direction to the applicant and staff. Staff recommends that the Planning Commission approve the application for Design Review Permit 2303 and Minor Conditional Use Permit 2303 pursuant to Planning Resolution 2316. Thank you. And we did have a public comment, and I did place it on your desk. It was a positive comment. And we also have the architect here. His name's Trygve. He will be showing us a 3D rendering of the model of the house.
Thank you, Davey. Thank you, Damien, for a great presentation. I don't know how much I need to add to this, but I guess I'm here if you guys, the Planning Commission has any questions and concern. Let me see if I can put the model on the screen here. Yeah, okay. So, my name is Trygve Thorstensson. I'm the architect on the project. I was approached by this, I think a little bit more than a year ago, to do a second-story addition to this very unique bungalow, very craftsmanship, very well-built 1950 craftsmanship house. If you look at I can show you kind of the basic layout of the house. If you look at the house, the beautifulness of the house, basically the living room, the old master bedroom, with a beautiful open beam ceiling, heavy beam ceiling with massive, wood planks in the ceiling and the walls. So after looking at this and kind of the best, and we thought the only concept of this house was to create the second story in the area of the entry and area of the back area, where it pretty much a bathroom, is a small laundry room right now, and one bedroom, leaving the rest of the bungalow in perfect shape and pretty much not touch any of that. To be able to do that, we wanted to create the second story in a very modern, architecture. And the best way to do that is to have that second story have their own structural system. So the concept of the structural system is to create, two beams, structural element beams at the front and in the back, and then cantilever the entire structure over the existing building. Doing that, allow us to, maintain pretty much all items of the existing building, so the bottom building will still keep the length of the old bungalow. Let me see. I'm trying to get this here. Entry still at the same at the same location, creating a little bit of kind of a modern feel of the entry with a larger door entry. And when you walk into the space of the immediate staircase to the second story, and then the second story kind of floating above the existing bungalow. I guess that's pretty much, that's basic concept of the architecture of the project. If you guys have any questions, if you want to see any more views, please let me know.
Tell me about the unique construction of the original building.
Well, it's a 50s, and it's all built with kind of hefty, old wood. If you look at the interior pictures of the building, it's a planks. So it's a white planks, both in the ceiling and the walls. Where something that is very, very difficult to, kind of do today with, without having extremely costs involved. Also, yes, please. Hey, the owner.
Oh yeah, hi. I'm my wife and I are the owners of the property. Sorry, I don't know if you can hear me on the mic.
Yeah, what was your name?
Todd Masilko.
Okay.
Yeah, so
On
live
the
at
right.
671
Go ahead.
Chaparral. Yeah, so the house, we have heard stories about the construction of it from one of the previous owners of the property who purchased the house back in the 1950s, now lives in Oregon, but came by to check it out a few years. We've lived there for 12 years, I should mention. We love the house and want to keep it. So the heavy beams that Trygve's talking about, our understanding is they were surplus lumber from World War II Army barracks. So they're Douglas fir, they're giant, like we're talking 6 inches thick and a foot tall, and the termites don't touch them. The walls are a foot thick. So yeah, I'm a designer, by the way. I work at Art Center College of Design. I'm not an architect, but I studied product design and interface design, so I'm very into design and love the mid-century house. So we are very keen to preserve the existing mid-century house and not disrupt its character. And then to what Trygve was saying, I think we really wanted to embrace that the addition, we can't copy it, basically. We felt there's no way we can copy. We can't fake the heavy wood timbers. We can't buy wood like that. It's not, the code wouldn't allow us to build it that way. So we really have embraced the second floor being today's version of kind of advanced modern building. It's like what was new then and what is new now in a way that we think are going to go together in a really cool way. So that's really the concept. The other thing I did want to say, one thing about the construction that we're planning, which I don't think Trygve mentioned, but his company specializes in a panelized construction system where some of the walls are actually partially framed up in a factory and brought to the site. And we hope to live in our house through a lot of the construction process, probably not all of it, but we're really trying to avoid moving out and having a long period of being away from our home. And by doing a little bit of off-site construction, we're also hoping to keep down the disruption on our street. We live on a narrow private road. Honestly, just getting a concrete truck up there is a little bit of a hassle for the neighbors. So we're trying very hard to come up with, that's part of what led to this modern aesthetic, as well as coming up with a way of building the structure that would allow us to not have to have just constant, trucks driving up and down the road for months on end. We think we can minimize the disruption to the street. So we've been scheming for about a year on this, and are anyway excited to be able to share it with you tonight. All right,
Stay, please stay.
Well, it's fascinating. I mean, because you're cantilevering the whole thing over the old structure to keep it essentially completely intact.
Correct.
Right. Any other questions for architect?
I have no questions.
All right.
I'm curious whether anything special had to be done with regards to earthquake risk and seismic stuff.
Well, everything will be done to a code. We haven't done the
Yeah.
structural, at this yet. So of course, yeah, there would be a seismic, yeah, requirement.
Yeah, I was just curious, since it's like basically another structure on top of an existing structure. I'm not an expert on the seismic stuff either, but
We
it'll
will,
be interesting to see that, yeah.
we will leave that to the engineers, yes.
Yeah, yeah.
Great, thank you very much.
Thank you.
All right. There are no more questions for staff or the applicant?
I have a quick question. I think it'd probably be for staff. I kept mentioning we have 3 parking spots in the driveway. We have 2 up on the road. We have the carport also, right?
Correct.
So actually have 6.
6, yeah.
already. Plus, like, there's a lot of room behind those 3 kind of in the driveway. Like,
you
Correct,
have a
yeah.
party
neighbors
there.
come over. Yeah, I mean,
Possibly.
I grew up half my, next door. So I know that street's really, kind of small. So, all right, perfect, thanks.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
At this time, we will take public comment on this particular agendized item. Anybody who would like to make a comment can do so now. Please state your name and address for the record, and confine your comments to no more than 3 minutes.
Hi, my name is Chris Bowler. I live at 691 Chaparral Road. I am directly north and slightly west of his property. I'm for the addition. I think that it will add dimension to the house. The house is a cute little house, but it's set so low on the property, really from the street, all you can see is the roof. So I really think that the addition would look really good from my house. It doesn't obstruct my view whatsoever. It doesn't obstruct my neighbor who is directly to the east of me, who's directly above Todd's house. It doesn't come into play at all. I think that what's really great about the build, what they've designed is, because it is a cute little old house, that they're keeping the, original structure in place, and they're not, moving any walls and stuff. It's staying original, which I think is key. And that's pretty much it. The siding would be hard to match that he has on there. It's some old handmade stuff they probably haven't made for 30 years. The one thing I did want to add, though, was about the carport and the parking situation. He has ample parking, more parking than anybody in the canyon in Sierra Madre has, anyone on our street has. But if he did put a carport, that would totally obstruct not only being able to see his cute little house, what you can see of it, it would totally obstruct his view from being able to see the mountains. It would look like an eyesore, just right in the middle of his yard. I think it would look horrible. And so that's it. I just wanted to say I'm totally for the addition. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Bowler.
Hello, my name's Paul Jacobson, live at 611 Chaparral. I'm right below the house, okay? I'm not saying I'm for or against it. I want to know how high it's going to be, because it's right above my house, and how far it's going to protrude. Is it going to protrude over the existing deck? It's kind of hard for me to follow what they were saying. So that's my question, okay? That's all my concerns are. That's it. Thank you.
Thank you. Would anyone else like to comment on this agendized item? Hearing none, I'll bring it back to the commission for deliberation. Who would like to start?
I'll start. I actually,
You lived
as far as, no, I don't live with them.
Tell us about your days when you used to run.
Oh, yeah, my friend grew up next door. But, so, yeah, as far as the parking, I have no problem. I agree with everything that was said. You can fit your cars down there if you don't want to put, a roof over them. I have no problem with that. The cars fit. So it doesn't seem like you're adding people, so you're probably not adding many cars. I have no problem with the parking. Personally, I absolutely love the design. I'm a huge mid-century modern fan, and I love the modernness of basically, taking a fancy shipping container and sticking it on top of one side of your house. I know it's a lot more than that. It's going to be a lot nicer, but that's what it reminds me of. But I think the design of it and everything, with the floor-to-ceiling windows, looks great. It stays within almost the exact footprint of the house too. So I don't think it's really that concern was that it was kind of going over. It didn't look like that to me. I mean, we could ask staff for more clarification if we feel like that, but it looked, as far as addition goes, it's staying extremely tight on the existing footprint. So that's my thoughts.
Yeah, I didn't go to the building myself, but I've been up Chaparral. It's a very unique street. But I can make the findings because in spite of the neighbor's contention, I didn't sit down on his property and look up at it. But however, they have a flat roof, like you said. I don't want to say shipping container. I think it's a little more unique than that. But it is very interesting and conservative addition. So I don't have a problem with the parking because there's tons of off-street parking, and with the ADU process, it's probably going to be null and void at some point anyway. And because it's such a unique location, so I can make the findings.
Yeah, I have absolutely no problem with the parking. Many people don't even choose to park in their covered parking, and they have, I'm looking at the satellite view, looks like plenty of parking in addition to, if you didn't have to back a car in and out, if you had people over or something like that compared to everyone else on the street. It sounds fantastic how they've been, whether by intention or accident, how the design will hopefully support having less construction on site to do the addition. To me, from the satellite photos, I'm looking at like 611 and 671. When I looked at it from the street, it really, just on the computer, I didn't manage to do a site visit. It really looked like it was almost sunken, as the neighbor said, and then this addition was almost making it into what your average house would be facing the street, a one-story. And so I would say that any house probably has the right to, have a face to the street. And I would be curious to have the exact answer to 611's concerns, but it doesn't look to me like it will play an impact there overall in support of the project's design. That's it.
Yeah, I echo many of the sentiments of my fellow commissioners. I believe that it is a very surgical addition of a second story that simply does not extend far enough to the front or the back to give any grave concern. It's already a very low part of the lot, and so it's a subtle addition from the street. The vast majority of it faces towards the neighbor on Carter, which is not the neighbor who was concerned about the privacy, so I don't have any challenges with that. I was on the fire department here in town, and I have driven a fire engine up that street, and I do not agree with my fellow commissioners' assessment of the street parking there at all. That spot, that's the front pad, I tried to turn my car around in there today when I was there. It is not sufficient to be called 2 spots on any day. It's actually shorter than the width that's required by code in our parking spots today. There's also, just to the east of it, is a parking spot that's halfway into the street that has a van that looks like it lives there permanently. So I think that counting the street parking for this calculation is just, it's not part of the deal at all. All of that said, the driveway is enormous, and there is plenty of parking in the driveway, and adding another overhang for a parking spot that will get filled with more stuff like the one that is today is not going to do anything but probably reduce the likelihood of cars being parked in there instead of fighting for that. In fact, I don't even know how the neighbor could get into his house if somebody parks in that pad up top. But neither here nor there, plenty of parking on the driveways, so I don't have any challenges with that. All in all, I think it's a great project and exactly fits in with the style of the house and such a clever way to add on without affecting the house. And you snuck in 5 years before it was going to be even more of a hassle, so good timing on that. So with that, I would look for a motion to approve.
I'll motion to approve design review permit 2303, minor conditional use permit 2303. I believe that's it. As presented.
I'll second. I'll second.
All right, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion carries unanimously. Thank you. All right, next up are the Planning Commission reports. Do any of the planning commissioners have anything to report?
What's our next meeting?
2 weeks.
2 weeks.
Today's the 4th, the 18th? No, I'll be here. Okay. I'll be here.
Okay. The 19th is our next regular meeting.
Plus 4.
It's the 5th.
Today's the 5th.
Oh, today's the 5th.
Oh, all right. I'll still be here.
You'll still be here?
I'll still be here.
Fantastic. Great.
So I have nothing to report.
All right. Anybody else? I have a question that I would love to get better clarification on. I know it's not agendized, so I won't be able to get my answers tonight, I don't think, but it occurs to me with the recent addition of a parking lot that got converted to a pay parking lot on private land, and as we've seen so many parking lots get converted into charging stations for Teslas and the like, I was curious if it requires special zoning for either public or private parking lots to offer some kind of paid service, either pay to park or to charge.
Is this somewhere in town?
Claire, if you're prepared to answer that, I think it's fine to do one question, one answer, but if we want to get into a discussion, then we should agendize for the next meeting.
I was just curious about it. I don't know that I was looking for a discussion. I just didn't know if there was a code one way or the other about that today.
Are you referring to the lot that's south of Taylor's Market, or I'm not aware of any lot being converted into a paid parking lot.
Okay.
I can find out and get back to you.
Okay. Thank you.
Would you like that to be agendized for the next meeting? Or just a email follow-up?
I think an email follow-up is fine, and then we can ask for things to be agendized outside of this, or do we have to ask for things to be agendized?
Yes, you can ask through email to be.
Okay.
to
And then
agendized.
as long as it has its due time before the meeting. Okay. Yeah, so an email follow-up's fine.
So this is a theoretical question you're asking?
No.
It's an actual project that's coming forward?
No. No.
No what? No what?
I will
Then
have.
Are we gonna find out in the email what this is all about? I don't like the clairvoyance.
No. I will work with to make sure that I'm accurate in what I'm saying. I will work with
And then we'll have a
and then if there is a presentation that needs to be had, I will ask for one, or if it warrants it, then they can.
All right, well, what I don't want to happen is it to go away without us knowing what the heck's going on. And then have it come up later and then say, we could have been educated about this, months ago or years ago. That's it. Okay.
Okay.
Yep.
We'll analyze whether further follow-up is necessary.
I will add that I'm interested in the more general elements of your question as well. So even if there's some particular project that you have in mind that's happening, the codes around, charging and that sort of stuff.
Well, then maybe that should be, yeah, so why don't we go ahead and agendize that conversation, and then we can decide if we think that we should ask council for guidance as to whether or not they want us to analyze a change to zoning. try to get ahead of it.
Okay, will do.
Thank you.
Good idea.
That's all I have. So Planning and Community Preservation Department reports.
So Chair Dennison, I'm sitting in for Director Gonzalez this evening because he is attending a neighborhood meeting with our city manager and police chief at Alverno Heights Academy in preparation of the meeting in 2 weeks. So the agendized item would be the annual review for the Alverno Villa CUP. So that will be before Planning Commission on the 19th.
I thought I recalled that there were quarterly meetings or twice a year meetings that were going to happen that the Planning Commission was to be invited to. And I don't recall being invited to any of them. Do you, Bill?
No, and I don't know it was mandatory. I mean, I think they were supposed to meet, but I don't know that we were,
Okay.
I think we were supposed to know about them, but, not city council, but I wasn't invited either.
Yeah, because I think the city council as well as the planning commission was to be notified about those. Is there any color you can add?
Just to check, I do believe it's written in their agreement that Planning Commission was supposed to be there, and it's voluntary for council, but yes, Planning Commission was.
They had a neighborhood meeting back in July 10th, and then another neighborhood meeting tonight at the same time.
Great. That's right, the annual review. Now, is the annual review at the anniversary of when it was passed by council rather than when we passed it? Because it got appealed, didn't it?
Right, but it's Planning Commission date.
Okay. It got, the planning commission's decision got reaffirmed, and so that's why it stays. Okay. Perfect.
That's all I have.
Great, thank you. Anybody else have anything? All right, then I will close our meeting. Thank you.
Thanks.